The Chicano movement, also known as El Movimiento, started in the 1960s as an addition to the Mexican-American civil rights movement. The term Chicano stands for a Mexican migrant who grew up in the United States. The Chicano movement was like any other civil rights movement. It was fought for the rights of a certain group of people who were treated with inequality and as second-class citizens. In this case, it was the Mexicans who had migrated to the United States. Their main goals for this movement was to confront the discrimination and achieve equal rights for the Mexican Americans. As the years passed, the Chicano movement became stronger as many different Mexican groups in the United States started to see that equality can be achieved through the movement. The United Farm Workers, consisting of Mexican workers, joined in 1962 to fight for better working conditions, insurance benefits, and workers' rights. Despite the inequality from the Americans, the Chicanos preferred to use non-violent tactics such as boycotts, protest marches, through art, and strikes. Another group that fought for their rights were the Chicano students. The Chicano students raised their voice due to the educational inequality done in their institutions. They fought for the lack of Mexican culture being taught, the lack of Chicano teachers, and better educational services. The Chicano movement brought quite a bit of change to not only the American culture, but also to their own culture and traditions. One of the main impacts the movement had on the Mexican culture was the rise of the Chicanas. As Mexican rights were being fought for, the Mexican women started to feel that they should have the same rights and authorities that the men had. This changed the whole dynamic of the Mexican culture and tradition, as stereotypically the Mexican woman is supposed to run the household and look after the family. The Chicano movement was a very important historical event, as it made the Mexican audience socially aware of what their rights were and how they were not supposed to remain as second-class citizens. There are many differences between the Mexican culture and the culture in the United States or New Zealand. Mexicans value family over individualism, while Americans value individualism more. The relationship in a Mexican family are also quite a bit stronger and more connected than families in the US or New Zealand. Also, Mexicans value tradition more than Americans or Kiwis. I personally think that the Chicano movement was an extremely important historical event which helped the Mexican Americans to achieve the equal statuses that they deserved. It also helped both the Mexican culture and the American culture to merge, creating a more open culture to live in. The movement helped to connect two different cultures together, which is useful as both cultures can learn new things from each other